Hi, I'm Puan from group LOL and I'm doing part 4. So here I am going to explain about the characteristics and the advantages and disadvantages of trapezoidal and Simpson's rule. So the first characteristic about the trapezoidal rule and the Simpson rule. Both trapezoidal and Simpson rule are used to calculate area under the functions like this area and this area. Both rules are used on cases that cannot be integrated. For example, ln x square root of 1 minus x to the power of 3 and e to the power of negative x square. When such situation arises, we have to use these rules, the trapezoidal rule and the Simpson rule. Now I shall talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of both trapezoidal and Simpson rule. The advantage of using trapezoidal rule is the n can be any number, odd or even. And the advantage of using Simpson rule is more accurate. You can get a better, a more accurate answer. There is one disadvantage about using the Simpson rule. The disadvantage is n must always be even. This only when n is even the question can be solved. Now we shall look at the formulas of the trapezoidal rule. The formula for trapezoidal rule is half h open bracket y0 plus yn plus 2 times the total number of lines inside the graph. For example, from y1 to yn minus 1 depends on how many strips do you have. So it's 2 times y1 plus y2 plus y3 all the way to yn minus 1. And if you realize half h is a constant, we get this half h from the formula half a plus b times height. This formula is the formula to find the area of a trapezium, a standard trapezium. So since this half comes from the formula from the trapezium, so here it's a constant, and whether we cut it into how many strips, we still must use the half h as a constant. And whenever we use this rule, we must always make sure that we use the y0 plus yn. If let's say n is equals to 6, we must take y0 plus y6 and then we add them together, then times by y1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Now I shall explain to you about the Simpson's rule. The formula for Simpson's rule is 1/3 h times by y0 plus yn plus 4 times y1 plus y3 plus y5 to all the way to yn minus 1. This is, if you realize, is all the odd y's around. Then this whole thing plus 2 times y2 plus y4 plus y6 all the way to yn minus 2. This is all the even y's. And then you must realize that this 1/3 h, right, it's a constant. It's a constant that came from the previous step. For example, to find the fx dx equals to area of the first pair of strip, which is this pair of strip, plus the area of the second pair of strip, plus the area of, until, depends on how many pieces you cut. So you must add the first pair plus second pair, third pair all the way to the last pair of strips in the whole graph. Start already. So that's all about the Simpson's rule and the trapezoidal rule. Now we have seen the characteristic, advantages and disadvantages. Now there is another method. There are a few other methods to compute this numerical integration. One of it is Monte Carlo integration, but we don't have to know all this, because to solve problems related to DEEE we just have to use Simpson's and trapezoidal. So that's all about my presentation.